what order we're doing these?
We're just
do you
gonna.
Have a
no,
plan?
There's no plan.
Okay, cool.
There's no plan. We're just gonna go from the hip here.
All right.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another wonderful episode of Bacon is My Podcast. James here. I am Mike, and we are joined here by Ring of Honor wrestler, superstar, and overall pretty awesome dude, Beer City Bruiser. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. And any podcast that wants to do beer sampling is a good podcast in my book. So
nice, love it.
Well, yes, that brings us to this.
Yeah, why we have this array of beers. For those of you that are watching the podcast versus just listening, you see a wide array of beers in front of us, and we decided that we would try something new with you. We thought for our very first time, we're just gonna drink with you.
We're gonna do some, yeah.
We're
We're gonna do
tasting. That's the best kind of podcast. You need to just drink and
ground.
So if you've listened to us before, we do some pretty decent research.
Yes,
and you don't have to dive too deep into Beer City Bruiser to know this dude likes beer.
It's my name.
So that was the easiest research ever. So I was like, you know what? And let's just drink together and have a little bit of an interview the way we do.
I thought that was the best idea ever.
And now here we are, about to partake and talk.
Yeah. So where are we going to start?
Yeah, let's start.
Get started. Then we'll start talking.
Which one do you think we should start off with here?
Well, I do have to say I have not had any of these beers. You made a very good selection, and you covered all. Like, you can tell whoever ordered these is familiar with beer because you went all across the board. It wasn't just a Miller Lite or a Coors Light. You have stouts, you have IPAs, you have craft beer. I mean, I'm impressed.
Well, thank you. I like the gamut. You know, I'm not a big I don't like a Bud Light.
Nobody likes Bud Light.
No. I mean, I guess like college kids do, but
my bass player,
people that matter don't.
Yeah,
exactly. People that matter don't. Right. So it's just I run the gamut. I saw this. This was a American red ale. So hit the ales. This was a dumpster fire.
Which one is that?
Which 2020 dumpster fire?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, how could you go wrong with that?
Yeah, when we first did it, I was like, let's find some really spicy ones. Let's find some that infuse peppers in them and stuff like that. Just because I thought it would be interesting. And then he came back with this wide array, and I was like, oh, that's way better. That's awesome. You hit everything.
Yeah. So which one do you think we should start off with, sir?
I think we should start off with Stone Cold, the Steve Austin Broken Skull IPA.
Oh,
and the reason being is it's Stone Cold, for one, who drinks more beer than I do. 2, I've never had it before. And 3, my good friend who is Ivar of the Viking Raiders on WWE doesn't drink. He's straight edge, but got to share one of these in the ring with Stone Cold. And I was so mad when I was watching that on Raw. I texted him you don't even drink beer. And he texted me and he texted me a picture back of the unopened beer can. He said he didn't drink at all. He just faked it, and now has the can sitting in his house and won't let. It's like one of his prized possessions. Yeah,
that's amazing.
So,
well, actually, funny enough, I should have probably emailed you this. I sent that one to you. I didn't get that for us. That was actually
that's just for me, huh?
Oh. Yeah, I got that for you because you have to hit a certain point to get the shipping minimum. So I was like, you know what, can't go wrong with this one. So
get him another beer.
That's a gift from us.
Well, then I'm going to save this one since you guys don't have it. But I'm very excited. I haven't had that one yet. That's the one that everyone always asks me in interviews, and I haven't had it, and I feel bad. Nice. They don't sell it around here, so.
I haven't had it either, so definitely let us know what you think.
I will definitely
once you crack it open, and we'll get some too.
Okay.
So, should we start with the dumpster fire then? Since 2020 was such a dumpster fire,
I'm in. We gave Jim the clear glass, so this way he can do a little bit of a pour
so.
to kind of do the connoisseur thing.
Right. Swirl and sip.
And
Thank you, sir.
it's dark.
Yeah, this is a dark one.
Says it has cayenne pepper in it, so there's your pepper.
Yeah. That's one thing I was pretty excited about. I like heat. Are you a spicy foods guy?
No, I'm not, but I am I will drink spicy drinks. So
okay,
nice. Well, this is a smoked chocolate stout with cayenne. Very excited. Cheers.
Oh yeah, that's got some pepper in it.
Ooh.
Oh. Wow.
I don't really taste it. Yeah, it comes back
on the back end, right?
Yeah.
It's like a ginger beer kind of thing. Like it's not like, ooh, this is spicy and shitty, but it's like,
that's what I mean. It hits you kind of in the back of the throat. It comes back up, and it's that like kind of wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Wakes up the taste buds.
Yeah, like it's pretty good. I can definitely. This is if you're out with your buddies and it's Taco Tuesday, you know, and you're at like a taco restaurant or something. This is something you drink, you know.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I can see doing this with shots of tequila.
Oh, I could definitely see that too. Absolutely.
Yeah, and this is like a heavier beer. I'm actually surprised at how light it is. In theory, it should be a heavier beer.
Right.
But,
yeah, it's a stout, right? See, I know.
Yeah. It's a little thinner than a typical stout.
Yeah.
But still.
Excellent.
Nice and dark.
Before the world shut down, they were actually trying to work something out. Ring of Honor was where they would find a local brewery in a town that we were performing in, and then fly me and my partner in a day early, Brian Malonis of the Bouncers. They'd fly us in a day early and set up a meet and greet at like a local brewery. And we'd do like samples of all their beer, and fans can come in and drink the beer with us and do an autograph signing and stuff.
Awesome.
And it was all set up, and then the world 2020 became a dumpster fire. So
right. Well, it's coming back. We're gonna be able to do it. How did you build your tag team? How did you guys decide to be a team? How did that all come about? Was that like from the get-go you were like, I want to tag team wrestling is my thing, or did it just kind of happen?
It just kind of happened, actually. I started with Ring of Honor 2 years before he did, but he was always coming around and doing the like extra work and stuff like that. And we just struck up a friendship because we have a lot in common. And we were just hanging out backstage and doing something. And then we ended up wrestling each other in a match. And we were just kind of joking around after the match going, can you imagine the damage we could do if we're together? Like two guys that love to drink beer and love to fight people.
Right.
And then the next week they're like, hey, because I was tagging with a guy named Silas Young. They're like, you guys need a third guy. They're going to put Malonis with you two. And then we just had chemistry in the ring where they saw it. And they're like, we're going to split you away from Silas and you guys do your own thing. Just over time, like it just picked up. Like it's really easy when you have chemistry with a guy outside the ring to bring it inside the ring. And I think the fans can tell when two guys know each other really well and they're having fun and stuff like that. And that's what kind of makes it successful. So right now we're not seeing eye to eye because he doesn't want to stab people with a beer bottle and I do, but
we noticed that.
Yeah. So just watching lately, OGK, you're kind of not too happy with them, which I mean, listen, I don't love Taven. I could deal without him.
What strikes the most is I got home after breaking the beer bottle over Taven's head, and my daughter is absolutely in love with Taven because when she was young, she came to a show or whatever, and he said hi to her. I don't know how teenage girls work. And she wouldn't speak to me for 2 weeks. Like just flat out silent treatment because what I did to Taven.
Oh, wow.
And I said, hey, I must have done something right if my own daughter's mad at me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is good heat?
Oh, that's great heat.
Okay.
Yeah. We were doing the Zoom 500 episode thing the other day and watching with the fans and stuff. And they asked me my opinion on stuff. And I got them so heated. I was getting actual like DMs in my Twitter of people threatening my life.
Wow.
So,
you were doing your job, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a winner.
I just do it, do it. Anything like my new mantra is any means necessary. So
you love your weekly dose of bacon as my podcast, but you need even more bacon. Well, just go over to baconismypodcast.com. You can engage even more with us over there. It's a pathway to our music, extra content, our social media pages. Most importantly, grab yourself some pretty sweet swag and put it all over your body parts. Again, that's baconismypodcast.com. Listen to some tunes, pick up some merch, and tell us, what's your bacon?
How come you guys haven't killed that beer yet? This one's gone. I'm ready for the next.
Okay. Okay.
I was interested in the question.
Okay. Jim, let's
all right. So what's
the next one?
So what should we do next?
Oh, let's see. What do we got? We just did a stout, so let's stay away from the stout for right now. Should we do the Satan wears pajamas?
I mean, that one definitely just speaks to me immediately when I look at the can.
Is that Hugh Hefner on the can?
It looks like it.
It's like a Hugh Hefner / most interesting man in the world vibe.
It's probably a current photo of Hugh Hefner.
Probably.
We should have asked Patty Negri.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. We just had an interview with Patty Negri, and she's a medium, and she's on Ghost Adventures and very the Good Witch of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And she had spoken recently to somebody about how she spoke to Hugh Hefner.
She did a seance.
She did a
seance.
Spoke to him
at the Playboy Mansion.
At the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
I actually know who you guys are talking about because I watch all that stuff. I'm a huge paranormal guy. So.
Oh, okay.
Us too, man. We loved it. It was so cool getting to talk to her.
I've done the Haunted Museum in Vegas twice now.
Nice.
Both times something came home with my wife and I. So she's not too fond of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not too fond of it. The second time was really good because it was when the world kind of shut down, and Mandy Leon, we were still out there for Ring of Honor. So the whole thing was when I left Milwaukee, the world was okay. When I landed in Vegas, everything was starting to shut down. It was real pre-pandemic, and it was like nobody knew what was going on. Well, it happened to be St. Patty's Day weekend, so they're like, you can either rebook your flight, send you home, or if you want to hang out in Vegas, you're here for 3 days. You're still getting paid to be here. We're like, well, I'm staying. Like, it's literally a paid vacation in Vegas, right? And my wife ended up flying out. She got a flight for like $40, and Mandy Leon set it up so that all the Ring of Honor talent that was still there, we all got to hang out, and we did the paranormal Zach Baggins Museum because Mandy's a huge paranormal person, and so am I.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, there's like 20 of us going through this, and it was just a really good time. And then we all, the strip and bar hopping and all that, but it was it was a really good way to end or to begin the pandemic as all of us, and then then we went to the digital age and all that, but it was like a good memory for like the last time we were all together.
Yeah, well, that's super cool.
Funny enough, last time we were in Vegas, we went to a Ring of Honor show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
we're from New York, and we actually had business to attend to. We do like conference AV on the side, and Death Before I don't remember what the event was.
I don't remember either.
I get darts thrown in my back.
Well, we went to the TV taping the next night.
Okay.
So you guys had the pay-per-view on Friday.
Yep.
And then the Saturday you guys did the TV tapings, and that's what we went to.
Yeah, we didn't get to go to the actual that show, but but we got to go to the one afterwards, and man, what a great
such a great time.
Such a cool, I can't stress enough to people that are listening, I mean, everybody knows that we're wrestling fans, and a lot of our friends are pro wrestling fans, but for those of you listening that maybe haven't given it a shot, man, do yourself a favor and go to go to an indie show near you. Go to an indie show. Everything doesn't have to be at an arena, but go to an indie show. Check out, man, you want to see people that are just busting their ass to entertain you, and it's a fun time, and it's interactive with a crowd when we can do that again. I can't wait to go to a wrestling show again.
I can't wait for fans to be there. You guys feed us so much, the energy.
That has to be so weird. How do you
Yeah, I was just gonna.
How do you know that you're getting heat?
All right, I just want to stop us for 1 second. Before we go any further, I want to know, are any of you guys aspiring podcasters or content creators, but you just kind of don't know where to start? Or maybe you're a current podcaster or content creator who's just sort of stuck in that creative rut. Maybe you're just trying to figure out a new and more engaging way to spice up your next interview. Well, then we here at Bacon is My Podcast definitely suggest pod decks. These unique conversation starting cards will help you come up with engaging topics for episodes, help aim you into deeper discussions, and sometimes just break the ice between you and a guest. Head on over to poddecks.com right now. Use the promo code BACON at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Again, use the promo code BACON at poddecks.com for 10% off because, well, everything is better with bacon.
Should I hold on to this longer? Should I not hold on to this longer?
Well, people slide you DMs going, hey, I'm going to kill you.
Right, yeah, you know that. It's not quite as immediate, but
No, and that's the part that this is really good, by the way. This is very good.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not a big IPA guy, and this is
I normally hate IPAs, and this is really good.
yeah, I
in the right ways.
I also typically hate IPAs because it always
Well, it says it's American red
tastes
ale.
like it tastes to me like potpourri smells.
Yes.
And so, but this is actually really good. I'm a fan. I like ambers though.
Yeah. So back to the question.
Yeah.
Wrestling is so instant gratification where we're used to the oohs and the ahs and the this is awesome or holy shit and all that. So we're used to that. So like when we go, when we're out there, you can feed off the crowd, like the crowd might not like this, but they might like this. Well, now with no crowd, you kind of it's more character based. So you got to focus more on your character and getting them to hate your character or like your character instead of just the moves, which I love because I'm a big fan, trained by Harley Race and stuff. I'm a big fan of that old school psychology and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the hardest part was I remember doing something in a match and normally you let it digest with the crowd, like a big bump, and you're waiting for the crowd to do their holy shit or this is awesome. You're kind of waiting and it's never coming. It's like, okay, wait a minute. So you got to learn your timing again. And then it's hard because for instance, the Taban beer bottle thing, we did that a month before it aired. So I had done the turn and stuff like that and then filmed a couple matches after and was already, in my mindset becoming this bad guy, but I couldn't do that online or interacting with fans yet because it hadn't aired yet.
Oh yeah. That's gotta be rough.
And so I'm thinking like next tapings, like what can I do to top that? And so I'm getting into that part of your brain where, like how can I be an asshole to get people to hate me? But then online, it's like, oh yeah, you're great. I love teddy bears, stuff like that.
It's like a split personality. It's great.
Exactly. And then the turn happens and you're okay, cool. I can finally tell people, call them a putz or I can, finally say what I want to say. And, and that was the hardest part of getting used to is waiting for that reaction from the crowd for stuff.
Right.
So
I saw on your Twitter, you were saying that you're going to appropriate the word putz.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of that. I think
we're bringing it back.
Putz is such a great insult.
It is. I was watching the TV. Yeah, I was watching the TV show the Goldbergs, and there's an old Jewish man. He kept saying putz, and then the kid kept saying it. And I'm like, that's a great derogatory, but not really derogatory term where you can say it to somebody and not get canceled. So I was like, I'm going to start doing that.
Right.
Yeah. It works.
It's like it is insult. Like if someone calls you a putz, it's an insult. But you're kind of like it's.
Did he just call me a putz?
Yeah. Like what?
Like you used to hear stupid or dummy or idiot, but like a putz is kind of like, wait a minute, makes them think.
I use dolt all the time.
Dolt is good, yeah.
And people are like, what is people say that now? Yes, I do.
I like that. My latest thing is when somebody says something, I just say no. Like no matter what it is they say, they just make a statement and I say no. And they get so angry at you because you're saying no. Like somebody said the greatest wrestler of all time is Ric Flair, and I just said no. That's all I said was no. And he had another tirade online about, the whole 140 whatever it is characters. And I just responded with no. And he's got more and more mad at me. And my wife's like, stop it. I'm like, stop what? She's like, you're antagonizing him.
Oh, it's fantastic.
All I'm saying is no. You know, or your opinion is wrong. And they get mad.
It's one word and it's a really short one.
Yeah.
So So this brings me to my next question. This is obvious, I guess. What's better, working face or heel?
You sell more merchandise as a face, but working heel's a lot better because you can get all your aggression out. I love being a heel personally. I think it's easier to get people to hate you than like you, especially when you're a 300-pound bald toothless guy, you know. But it is. I have found it though. It is getting hard, you know, being the Beer City Bruiser, getting people to boo me because who doesn't like hanging out with their buddies and drinking beer?
Well, yeah, it resonates. It's kind of like, oh, like if you look across the roster and you're like, who would I want to hang out with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super easy.
You know, like
Yeah.
I like to hang out with the drinkers.
Yeah. Well, case in point, like who on the ROH roster is here? You.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. But I much prefer being a heel because I can take my real life frustrations and take it out. You know, Steve Carino gave me great advice when I was real young in the business. He's, you know, kind of a mentor of mine. He said that there's a line heels don't cross. Why can't you cross that line? As long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not being racist or sexist or touching on politics or religion, you know, the sensitive subjects, why can't you cross that line? And so I use that for stuff. And when it comes to like creative and stuff, like when I was on the indies, it didn't matter because I was my own boss. But now that I'm with Ring of Honor and I have to tell them my last turn that I just did, I pitched them a bunch of ideas and they're like, out of the 5 ideas, they like 3 of them. And I said, what about these 2? They're, so that's way too extreme. Like you got to think that you can't do that on TV. Like,
right.
Okay, cool. But at least, you know, I'm willing to go that far, you know?
Right.
And I think that's what makes a great heel, you know?
So what was the transition like going from being on the indies to being on a television show, right? Because you've got you've got your hard camera, you've got your your times that you got to hit and stuff like that. How was that transition as far as putting together matches and kind of like doing your thing?
It took me a while, but I was lucky to have Silas Young since we came from the area and they put us together real early and he'd been there for so long. He was able to help me. Again, Steve Carino, another big help, where when you're putting your matches together, now you have to think of where the hard cam is because you always play the hard cam. When it's an indie show, you're playing for the crowd. It's all 100% the crowd. You want the crowd to be interactive. You want them to be excited. Whereas with TV, 70% the camera, 30% the crowd, because it's the crowd's there already. They already paid their money. They're in the building. It's those other people that when we go to their town, we want them to come to the building. So it was like, okay, I had to figure that out. And then I had to figure out when I'm doing stuff. When I used to do the frog splash, I didn't know I was doing it out of the wrong corner all the time. And Todd Sinclair came up to me one day, pants, and he says, you know, you're doing the frog splash out of the wrong corner. I says, no, what do you mean? He goes, you got to think they want to shoot you jumping off the top rope because then they can replay it. And then the more they replay it, the more you're on TV. I was like, I didn't even think about that. He goes, yeah, just think about where that camera is and make sure there's a camera on you before you jump. So now every time you look up, I'm hitting it out of the same, you know, same 2 corners. And it took me about 6 months to get used to that. You know, I don't want to say it's stinker matches on TV, but I just had matches where like, if I go back and I watch them now, I'd be like, oh, if I would have flipped this way, it would have looked so much better, or, you know?
Right.
And I did become really good friends with Gator and Seth, our cameramen, because before matches I can come and I learned, I don't know if you guys remember reading Mick Foley's book, but he used to approach the camera guys about certain moves. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to do that. So I'd walk up, hey, I'm going to do this time and this. Can you shoot it this way? Or what's your idea? And working with them, because they know better than I do. They're the ones working the cameras. Sure. And Gator's the one that came up to me one day. He goes, man, I respect you so much because you care about my opinion to make you look good. I go, without you, man, nobody sees me. You know, you make me look good. You make a 300-pound bald toothless guy look good where people want to interact with me. That's you. So,
dude, that's so smart because you know, when you're doing a TV product is what you're doing. It's like, okay, so here's what I bring to the table. How can I do this better so that you can get a better angle of it? How can I, you know, I would think that would be something that would just completely change how you approach things once you talk to them and you figure that out. Do you do that with the announcers too? Or are you kind of like, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this, or is that
Yeah, Ian and Caprice are amazing announcers, and here's why. Now that we do the bubble and stuff like that, even before it was easier before quarantine and all that because we could actually walk up to Caprice and Ian and talk to them. But now that we're in the bubble and stuff, they will text talent individually. What story are you trying to tell? Is there any key points we have to hit? Is there a new move you're debuting? Is it new gear? And they both do their research. You know, they're not just two guys, talking. They want to relay the same story we're relaying. So they want to get on the same page as us. And it's really cool how they reach out to us and oh yeah, man, I'm going to do this in this match. Okay, cool. We'll do that. And then the best thing about that too, they don't know what's happening other than what the key points you tell them. So their reactions are genuine reactions.
Right.
Yeah. And I've learned with no fans and stuff, you can hear them. So now in my head, when I put matches together, I hear Ian and Caprice calling it and like, oh my God, this is what's that, and oh, what a bastard. He did this and this. And it's just really cool, and I respect them because they reach out to us to put that story together because they know their job is to paint the picture for the viewers at home. What I liked about with Ian and stuff is after the beer bottle, the next match was a week by week match. And I tried to take a cigar and burn Rhett. And he's the one that brought up was, why did you do that? And I said, because in my head, the worst thing that ever happened to me is when Vincent put a cigar out on my chest. So I want to do that to somebody else. So now when he's doing his commentary, because he found that out, when I pulled it out, he's like, there's no way he's going to do this. This was one of the worst days of his life. And, he was able to. So if you guys doing this can find these indie guys, and these indie guys will probably have no idea who their character is. That's what I found out about indie wrestling. They just want to go out and do moves. But if you walk up and go, what story are you telling? What can I sell for you? And then it'll make indie wrestling better because they got to think, oh, wait a minute. Wait, you want to know a story?
Right. Why do we care? What's your motivation?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. Because it's huge. You're a storyteller in the ring, right? So, and you have all these other things. You have the cameramen, you have the announcers that are extensions that should be looked at as extensions of you to tell your story. I think that makes a lot of sense. That's cool. But thank you for that because that immediately started me thinking on stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, and you immediately brought up probably one of the greatest guys ever. That's Bobby Heenan because you believed everything Bobby said. You know what I mean? Like even if he was making fun of a guy, he still made the guy look better than he was.
Exactly. It wasn't about making Bobby Heenan look awesome. It was about making the guy look either great or like an awful person or and by extension, Heenan, he has had amazing timing and amazing comic, and his knowledge is absolutely insane. But it was always about the person in the ring, not him.
Exactly. Yes. Like you remember when the NWO came in, they'd come over to the announce desk and he would do everything he possibly could to get out of there.
Yeah.
Because they were the outsiders coming in. And I remember as a kid that sold me on the NWO, like, wait a minute, maybe these guys are outsiders. Maybe, you know what I mean? It was
right. Maybe this is real. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Like these guys are in. Why is he reacting that way? They know this is happening.
I remember that. I remember exactly that. Like seeing him like look super uncomfortable and start to move out. You're so right. I noticed that too. That was crazy.
Yeah, and it's like Bobby should like these guys.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
He should like these guys, but he doesn't.
I also like that he never liked Hogan, whether Hogan was good or bad. It was consistent. He was like, he's a piece of trash. He's a piece of trash no matter what.
Yeah.
I like that. I like when I see stuff like that from the announcers. They don't just flip flop. I never really understood why somebody you hated yesterday did something and now you're their biggest fan.
Right. You shouldn't
like,
be, yeah.
If you hated that, it's one of the things I like about if you watch like Corey Graves with Sasha Banks.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Everything is always about like, yeah, she's really great and everything, but what a piece of trash human being.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
No matter whether she's, what side of the fence she's lying on that day. So I was, and Bobby Heenan was just one of those guys too, where like, man, you knew how he stood on everybody.
Yeah.
And you definitely knew where he stood on Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So as far as
like, do another one now or what?
Yeah. I was gonna say,
I'm gonna go for the beer for pizza.
Beer for
You know, I
pizza.
have that one in my hand right now. So
Excellent.
Nice. All right.
beer for pizza. I like the thing I like about craft beers is the labeling. 'Cause it's not your normal Miller
there's-
Lite, Bud Light stuff. It's like this looks like somebody put some time into this. You know?
There's some mice on it.
Yeah, that I noticed the same thing in like hot sauces,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
craft beers and hot sauces to me have a similar kind of labeling to like album covers.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
You know what I mean? Cheers.
Cheers. Cola inspired, it says.
I was gonna say it tastes like Coke.
Wow. Yeah, and it's fizzy like that too.
Holy cow! This is
There's a little bit
delicious.
of
Wow.
wow.
You know what this? So my wife is not a big beer drinker. She lied to me when we first met. Longest one night stand ever. But this is something I think she would drink. And I always tell my friends that know me really well, if I say my wife's willing to drink a beer, they know it doesn't taste like beer because she hates beer.
Right.
But I've gotten her with stuff, you know, like some stouts and stuff that are real chocolatey.
Yeah.
Yingling made one with a Hershey in it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That is excellent.
Thank you. And
Yes.
we don't get Yingling in the Midwest. It's only when I go out east. I always pack.
Yep.
That's my favorite beer in the whole world. And I always pack a case in my travel carry-on to fly home with me. Well, we were out there, Jimmy's Seafood in Maryland, after Free Enterprise. My wife was with me, and I tricked her. I went up and I ordered one of the Hershey Yingling stouts in the glass. I said, "Hey, give this a try. It's a new kind of chocolate milk." She's like, "Sure." And she tried it. She drank 3 glasses before I told her it was beer. But that's how I know it's good. And this is one of those things, man, where I think I could trick her into.
Yeah, this is
It's kind of like
off-color brewery.
It says cola inspired and botanical.
What is botanical?
yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Floral.
It's got-
I would think
It's got potpourri in it.
it's got.
It
potpourri.
does. So it's an IPA.
But yeah, man, it's what a
Wow.
kudos to.
Okay. Whoa. Wait.
Off-Color Brewery.
It says secret natural flavors here. Dark sugar syrup,
Okay.
cola nut,
Yep.
lime juice, vanilla, lemon zest, orange zest, orange blossom, cinnamon, coriander, nutmeg, and citric acid.
All right.
I just see a
taste
chef.
oregano.
You taste.
I just see a chef like sitting over a beer like thing, just like scratching the lemon zest in, and you know.
Right.
Now, what might be available in the Midwest is because it's a Boulder Brewery is in Colorado.
Right.
Shake chocolate porter.
I haven't had that. I'll try it.
Oh yeah, if you can find that, that's heaven.
Yeti's got a chocolate porter as well that you can find in the Midwest. What part of the Midwest are you in?
I'm in Milwaukee. I'm in Wisconsin.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
right-
Yeah, I'm
right
I'm,
there. Yeah.
I'm from Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
sorry.
So yeah, me too. I moved to New York.
What a heel.
The booker for Ring of Honor is from Illinois, and I always apologize. He's Illinois and Missouri, the border there, you know,
Right,
Hannibal, that area. And I always apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry, man, because I lived in
Yeah.
Missouri for years. I've wrestled in Illinois. I've wrestled in Indiana. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, man. I get that too. People are like, "Oh, I'm from Illinois," and I'm like, "Wow, you're surprisingly not a dick."
That's true. One of my best friends is so the guy that he's literally a brother of mine. His name's Brandon Blaze. I always make fun of him because everything to him is Chicago. Because he's from Chicago. So it's like, you know, he's a White Sox fan, which I don't get. But somebody will say something, people like, the Bears are the best, and Chicago this and Chicago that. I go, dude, that happened in Joliet, which is like 3 hours away from Chicago. Like, don't say Chicago. He's like, well, people don't know anything outside of Illinois. I go, because that's it. Illinois sucks. That's why.
It's because they don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't.
Well, it's kind of like Giant Stadium.
Right.
Around here, it's like,
That's
New York
Jersey,
Giants,
right?
New York. Yeah, it's in New Jersey.
Yep.
It's in
I
fucking
found that
Jersey.
out when we did the MSG show and they were doing WrestleMania.
Yeah.
A bunch of New York fans were mad because they were doing WrestleMania at Giant Stadium. I said, well, isn't that here? And they're like, no, that's in Jersey. I'm like,
Right.
what?
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, this brings me to my next thing. I was at that show as well.
Okay.
I actually opted well, semi-opted. So I ended up being a seat filler at NXT on Friday.
Okay.
I went to G1 Supercard on Saturday, and I decided not to freeze my ass off at WrestleMania on Sunday because I had done it like however long before that,
Right.
when it was Roxina 2,
Right.
Oh,
twice in a
yeah.
lifetime.
Yep.
We froze our asses off.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yes,
I'm
we
not
did.
doing that. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
So I did not get tickets. This guy did something way cooler than I did.
Yes. Well, it's not my cool. It's I'm cool adjacent because my girlfriend works for Joan Jett, and
Okay, cool.
she's her lighting director. And when Joan did WrestleMania and she was going to play Becky Lynch out to the, or not Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey out to the ring, she got me in as crew, and I was like,
Nice.
cool. So I was one of the like guards of Joan's door and stuff like that. So so I kind of got to run around WrestleMania, which was just, I've been to a couple manias, but this was just so absolutely insane to me. It's like I'm walking down the hall and like Bret Hart's walking towards me, and I'm just like, hi.
Did you lose your ticket to this WrestleMania?
I did not lose my ticket at this one. No,
This guy, we had to actually walk the Mania before this one. We actually had to walk through one of the boxes to get to our seats, and we went to our seats at first, and then we went back down to go get some merch. And
yeah, between
he lost his
my
ticket.
ticket was gone.
And then our friend
Yeah.
was so drunk that he passed out at the seats. So the only way we could get in to that spot was to call our friend, and of course he wasn't answering the phone.
Nice.
So,
but when we did MSG, they gave us lanyards that said talent and stuff, and we each got an extra one because everybody. Supercard of Honor is like when all the Ring of Honor guys bring your families. It's kind of like a big thing for us. And then it was MSG, so it's like, never in my wildest dreams I think I'd wrestle in Madison Square Garden. So Brian and I, they had the wives kind of up a little bit in like a specialty box. So we get done and stuff, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go talk to the wives. He's like, yeah, let's go. And I had my lanyard, and as I walked through, the security guard goes, hey, that was a great match. I'm a real big fan of yours. I said, thanks, man. It's awesome. So I go up on my wife, and all the wives, and I'm talking every Ring of Honor wife, was just 3 sheets to the wind. Because I guess they had an open bar up there. And they're just, and we had this huge plan afterwards. All the guys and the wives, we're all going to go up to some fancy steak place, and we're all going to, live it up. She just did this. And nope, all of us went back to the hotel room, sat in the hotel lobby while our wives slept off what they were drinking all night long.
Oh, man.
I had given my wife my lanyard. She wanted to see it, and I forgot it with her. So when I went back, the same security guard that told me he was a big fan of mine wouldn't let me back in the locker room because I didn't have the credentials.
Oh.
And I go, bro, I took a selfie with you. He goes, no, I'm just trying to follow policy. I'm like, I guarantee you're not getting fired over this.
Right.
Like let me go, man. So I had to go.
You're more likely to get in trouble.
I had to go all the way back up, get my lanyard, came back down. He's like, I was just kidding, man. You could have went through. I'm like, you're such a dick.
Oh.
But no, wrestling. When I started wrestling, I'm a big bucket list guy. So I had bucket lists of things I wanted to do and all that. And when I got back from Japan with the Honor United or the Ring of Honor show in Japan, I got back. I'm like, okay, cool. There's one more thing on my bucket list. And I don't think I'll ever accomplish that. And that's Wrestle Madison Square Garden, just because that's the building. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know. When I was a kid watching TV, you see Hogan do the prayer and the slap in the chest and walk, the hallway. And it's like, man, that's the place. And then when they announced it, nobody in the locker room believed it. We're all like, okay, that's cool. And then we just kind of waited. Like, It's like one of those things where you don't want to jinx it. So nobody talked about it. And as the date got closer and closer, it's like, no, we don't want to, don't jinx this. And then the graphics started coming out, and then it's like, okay, we're doing this. And then
now they're advertising.
Yeah.
That makes
and then,
it real.
Then you're there. And I remember walking out, and the first thing I noticed was the ceiling. Cause I always remember the WrestleMania hype videos where they show pyro going on the ceiling and stuff. And I remember that. And I looked up at the ceiling and I almost started to cry. It's like, I'm here. I get to do this. And normally our entrance was through the crowd back then. I talked to production. They're like, nope, we want you to walk on the stage. We want you to walk out, take a second, and take it all in.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know when this will happen again. Or I get goosebumps now thinking of it. I have a picture framed on my wall of me standing on the stage with my name, in Madison Square Garden. It's amazing.
That's so amazing.
So cool.
It's crazy because it doesn't matter what kind of entertainment you're in. It's like one of those things you say, what's the goal? And everybody in every form of entertainment is like Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Right. There are bigger arenas. There are fancier arenas, but man, MSG is just that's the one.
It's iconic. Yeah,
man. So was it as far as like if you had to pick one memory from wrestling at the Garden, was that it? The standing on the staging or looking up at the ceiling? What was it for you? When you were there, what thing gave you the most like, holy shit?
It was actually, so I was in the Battle Royal, obviously, and I had found out Suzuki. I had wrestled him a couple times beforehand, and he had asked Creative to do something with me in the ring.
Ooh,
now
cool.
here's Suzuki, who is literally a legend, and not just wrestling, but MMA, and he's an icon.
Absolutely.
And the business that I'd done with him the year before had made an impression on him, where when he saw me, he went and said, I want to do something with him. So I remember we're in the ring, and I'm doing the beer punches into the bite, and all the people chanting beer. And then I bite. And I used to look at the camera and say, I can't bite. And I look at the other camera, I ain't got no teeth. And everyone's saying it with me. And I just remember going, man, this is so cool. Like,
right.
And so like that stands out because Suzuki went out of his way to help a kid like me. And then on top of that, 20,000 fans who don't owe me anything were chanting along with me and doing my catchphrase.
Right.
I was so happy. And my wife got it on video, and I just remember thinking, man, this is, like I could die tomorrow and I'm fine. If my plane crashed on the way home, I'm okay. You made it.
You made it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And then, obviously when everything's done, now it's okay. New bucket list. So now I have my new bucket list I'm working on. So
nice.
That's
dude,
awesome.
that's so, what a great story. That's awesome.
Yeah. We spoke with Chase Owens, and I was like,
okay, yeah. Good
man, how mean is Suzuki in real life? And he's like, well, it just depends on who you are.
Right. If he likes you, and if he doesn't like you, you really know.
Right.
No, and I heard that. I heard that about him, Naito, and Liger and stuff. And I had to do stuff with them 3 weeks in a row. And I'm like, great, 3 weeks in a row with literally three future Hall of Famers. Two of them right now, Liger and Suzuki.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I'm not going to change anything about me. I'm in this position for a reason. And when I'm in the ring, I hit hard. Like, you're in a match with me. Just because that's the way I was brought in with Harley,
Right.
And I remember doing it to Suzuki and him hitting me back going, I should probably lighten up because this guy's going to kick my ass. And he goes, no, keep. So I'm still doing it. And he's hitting me and I'm hitting him. And I'm going, I'm going to murder this guy. He just kept hitting me. And like, after everything's done, he goes, you're a good kid. No change at all. I said, no problem, sir.
Oh,
so I kept it that way. And that's how I guess I earned the respect, so that when I wrestled Naito in Toronto, I got done with the match and I walk him back, and BJ Whitmer, who was in charge of Gorilla, comes up and goes, man, you earned a bunch of bonus points. So what do you mean? He goes, Naito took almost a dozen bumps for you, and he doesn't bump for anybody. They only bump for people they respect.
Right.
And he let me give him a DVD on the apron to the floor.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of respect. And he goes, you need to remember that. And I remember walking up to Naito afterwards and thanking him. And he goes, change. You stay. I'm like, okay. And like, I don't care who complains now, because I have 3 legends telling me I did all right.
That's awesome.
You're doing the right thing.
So like, so when you're wrestling guys like Naito and Suzuki, so how much does the language barrier, how big of a hurdle is it? Because when you're working out a match, do you work? I mean, you hear guys say, "Oh, well, we called it in the ring," or "Oh, we called it beforehand." How do you call it at all?
there's really no language barrier when it comes to wrestling.
Okay.
So, for instance, when a clothesline's a clothesline, there's no Japanese word for clothesline.
Right.
You know, so in the back, they come and they talk to you. It's kind of like a feeling out process. They want to know how much you know, type thing. So they they feel you out, and then when you're coming up with stuff, you got to be, the thing with them is respect.
Yeah.
So you don't just want to say, I'm going to do this to you. You want to say, I'm thinking maybe, and then you say it, and then let them answer you. And 9 times out of 10, they will always say yes, because they're crazy. And there was, when I did the Honor Rising tour, I got to wrestle Hiroki Goto for the Never Openweight Championship, and he's like one of my he was always on my bucket list of guys to wrestle because I've always looked up to him. And putting the match together was so easy because he had already watched a bunch of my matches, so he actually knew stuff that I do in the ring. So he would be like, "Oh, you, I can't bite." I said, "Yeah, I can do that." "Oh, you frog splash." "Yeah, I can do that." So it was really cool because wrestling is such a universal language. Moves don't change. There's, it's an arm drag, it's a hip toss, it's a clothesline. So I remember talking to Harley and asking him that, saying, "How'd you call it with like, Baba and stuff?" He says, "Wrestling's a universal language. You shoot a guy off, say hip toss, he knows he's taking a hip toss." There's no Japanese, no Spanish, nothing. It's all the same.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, me too. That's cool.
So that's awesome.
I'd heard that like in Mexico they work the opposite arm. Like they work from the right instead of the left and stuff. So I imagine that. But as far as someone saying like it's still like a universal thing, like that's the first time I've heard that too.
The hard part's the small talk.
Yeah.
Damn, like you always hear like the learning tree. So you learned from Harley Race.
Right. So
you
first
came
off, one of the best
like
ever.
Okay. You come into Ring of Honor and you learn from Silas Young, which I mean, for like a mainstream crowd may not necessarily know the name, but the dude is a bona fide badass. Like he's great. He's a really, really, really great wrestler, great in psychology, great technician. Like,
and he's the same in real life. There's no difference between the Last Real Man character and the real person. Like everyone asks, when I was tagging with them, I get questions about that all the time, and I'm like, nope, same person. There was a time. A quick story is, we were in Pittsburgh going to a show, and the Milwaukee Brewers were in Pittsburgh, and they had a game there, 3-game series. Well, Brian Braun was flown home after game one to get his thumb MRI'd or something happened to him. So on our flight to Philly, I see Ryan Braun and I go, "Hey," and I'm a big Brewers fan. That's Ryan Braun. He's like, "Yeah." So I walk up, say hi. He's like, "Hey," and we're getting on the plane. And now Ryan Braun's first one on the plane, sitting first class, the whole thing. And Silas goes, "Watch this." So, all right, cool. So Silas had his knee brace because he was doing an angle on TV with his knee. So he had his knee brace on the outside, and he walks up and he stops literally the whole boarding process right in front of Ryan Braun and goes, "Hey, Ryan, real men work through injuries," and he taps the knee brace and keeps walking. And I'm like, did this just happen? Like, what is going on? Probably my favorite Silas story ever.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
So like you then you get into your first like real big promotion with Silas Young, and then you hang out with Rock and Roll Express. Like you hear about the learning tree. How much of that is true? Like, how much do you learn from those guys as opposed to like actually doing it?
I always tell people you learn more drinking beer in the bar afterwards than you do when you're actually in the ring. And I've always, first of all, I'm a fan. Like the reason I became a wrestler is I was a fan, and it's been my passion. It's what I've always wanted to do. So when I meet legends like that, I want to learn. I want to know they've done it before. I mean, how many sellouts has Harley done? How many sellouts has the Rock and Roll Express done? They're obviously doing something right, especially the Rock and Roll Express. They're still doing it.
Right.
So I look at that opportunity to ask them questions and learn. And it doesn't happen. Like you learn in the ring, obviously, but it's afterwards, you buy them a beer, you sit down, here's a beer. hey, when you did this, and they just start telling you stories, and then they start telling you, I remember after the first night, Brian and I were sitting in the NWA Power. We're sitting kind of just in the crowd, just waiting for the show to start. Like there's no crowds, people are in the ring and stuff. And Robert came up to us and he goes, hey, and he asked us a question. We didn't have the answer to it. And he goes, I'm going to tell you the answer. And for the next hour, went on to us about how important a partner is on the apron for the guy in the ring. And you don't think about that. You know what I mean? Like you don't think about that when you're thinking about your stuff. You don't think about how you react when you're on the ring.
Right.
And he goes, I challenge you guys to try this tonight and see what happens. And we did, and we got huge reaction.
Wow.
But obviously we learned, from the best,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I encourage any young guy out there, like you have your we call them mark out moments, and I have a funny story with that, but like you still want to learn from these guys. They've done stuff, especially guys that have been everywhere and done everything. And like Harley's forgotten before he passed, he forgot more in wrestling that I could ever learn. And just to get a little bit of what he taught me, is amazing. He always had a saying, wrestling was here long before you. It'll be here long after you. So while you're here, why not make the best of it and then make it better for the next generation? That guy could be as egotistical as he wanted, you know what I mean? And he didn't. He was so humble and so taking care of everybody that's how I try to live now.
Yeah, you hear that when you hear stories about him, and honestly about a lot of the more iconic legends. You hear that idea of like they were always looking towards the future of the business in general versus just trying to keep themselves keep that little piece of whatever for themselves.
Yeah.
All right. I think we need to do the coffee dino s'mores.
All right.
So you can do that.
Okay.
You can open that up and you can grab your glass and stuff. What I'm going to do is we actually have a sponsor called Pod Decks. And what they are is they're similar to like Cards Against Humanity, where, they're just like icebreakers. They're cool little questions and stuff, anecdotal things. You're making a sour face.
Oh, no, I'm letting you do your ad. This is, I wasn't expecting this.
Okay.
Very thick.
Very thick.
As I poured it,
viscousy.
It definitely smells.
You can smell the coffee.
Yeah, I smell the coffee stoutness of it. Definitely coming through.
So yeah, this what we do is we let you pick one of the decks. Cheers. So they have the What the Heck deck, the Interview Deck 2, Would You Rather, Interview Deck 1, and the Episode Deck. And pick one of those decks, and we're going to ask you a question.
I want to do the Would You Rather. I like those. Like in Family Guy, like the Quagmire, would you rather? I love those. So let's do it. Would you rather?
Oh, that's very vanilla-y.
Yeah, definitely. When I'm tasting this, the smell of it's smooth. Familiar to other coffee stouts. I definitely get that.
It's like super smooth, but it's like, do you really want to drink this whole thing?
I do, because I love beer. But this is something you could have after you just had a nice steak dinner and you want to just sit and chill out, right?
You let it simmer.
I couldn't.
Yeah, you don't pound this type of beer. Yeah. I will.
I couldn't see I couldn't see doing more than a couple of these.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is definitely a one dessert beer to get that on your, okay, I had a great meal with my buds, Yeah,
absolutely.
Very thick.
So what we do here is I'm going to fan this out. Jim's going to put his finger by the deck, and you just tell us when to stop.
And stop right there. Right there.
Okay.
Right there.
Perfect.
And young James here is going to ask you this question.
Okay. Beer City Bruiser. Would you rather lick every inanimate object that you see or be licked by every living thing that you see?
I think I'd rather be licked by every living thing. I don't want to lick inanimate objects.
I think that's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
I would probably pick the same thing because
like I'd get more pleasure out of being licked, I think.
Right. I'm sometimes you're the licker, sometimes you're the licky.
Yeah,
but
it happens.
But I think in that situation I'd rather be the licky.
Yeah.
But
good question though.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, I prefer to lick animate objects.
yeah, like yeah,
If I can catch them.
Wow, yeah.
good point. So yeah,
Sometimes
if you go to
they're fast.
poddex.com right now, use the promo code BACON, 10% off.
10% off your whole order. They
And
have,
you get the
all kinds of cool
swag
stuff.
too. They got cool swag too.
And I love how you said it's a great icebreaker, because that is like, you buy one of those decks, read a question, now you have something to talk about.
People like want to start a podcast all the time.
Mhm.
And a lot of people are not good at it.
Right.
No, they're
Not a
not.
lot
Yeah.
of people can just talk nonstop.
Not
like you
everybody has verbal diarrhea like we do.
On a guy that gets asked daily to be on podcasts, I'm thankful now that we have Mark, our publicist, who you guys know about,
Right.
because he has this whole process to get us on podcasts so that it's not just, and because before I had him, it was literally some guy in his basement. Hey, are you a pro wrestler? Like, yeah, that's why you have me on your podcast. No. Who do you wrestle for? You know what I mean? It's like,
Right, yeah.
bro, just because you can, and he has 3 followers. It's like, just because you can talk doesn't mean you need a podcast, man. Like, nobody cares.
I
Yeah.
had to do more jumping jacks than I've ever had to do in my life talking to Mark.
Oh yeah, Mark's great. Mark protects us.
No,
You know, 'cause then
I'm
we get-
kidding. Mark is great. Mark
Yeah.
was really good.
And
he's
that's why
gotten
when he
very good at
sends us,
jumping jacks.
like when he sends us stuff like you guys, I'm like, cool. I'm not going to waste an hour of my time. I'm going to have fun with these guys. We're gonna, it's a good time instead of a work or
How can I
Yeah.
get out of this?
We've had past guests that have definitely been like, how do I get out of this?
Right.
But then when they came on, they were like, oh, this is okay.
right.
This is
You guys have bacon in the name, so you had me hooked. And
See?
then Mark,
That's-
well, these are Mark
that's why we
really
do it.
likes you guys, so I was like, all right, I want to do it. And then
Nice,
you
cool.
sent me beer. Like, you guys are not my favorite podcast.
cool.
Nice.
Yes.
Bacon in the name, sent you beer.
Yeah.
We know how to market.
Next time we'll send you bacon.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm fine with
or
that too.
a bacon beer. I
Don't
couldn't
do
find
that.
one.
Don't do that.
I couldn't
Don't do
find a
that.
bacon beer.
So
They do have bacon beer in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
See, we do something on our Patreon that is called Tasting is My Passion, and we taste weird shit.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Pretty awful. Bugs are coming up.
Yeah, don't remind me. So yeah, we had
Ranch
bacon
soda.
soda. Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, bacon soda was
dude.
awful.
I can't even tell you how bad it was.
Ranch soda was probably like, if you wring out all of the gear at the end of a show, like at the end of the G1 Supercard, if you wrung out everybody's gear into a glass, that's probably what it tasted like.
Yeah, similar.
Ugh.
It's definitely what it smelled like.
It's absolutely what it smelled
Yeah.
like.
It smelled like armpit and feet.
Yeah.
I was
That
gonna
is-
say, I know how much I sweat, and the whole card full of guys sweat. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they make it. They make this
They
soda
make it.
and they sell it. And I
Somebody
was an
drinks it.
idiot and I paid for it.
Somebody drinks it. We are that somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But you did it to entertain your fans, so that's okay.
Absolutely. Well, and as you know, that's what the
That's
whole
what the
deal
whole
is.
thing is for.
That's the whole thing is.
My wife will ask me why I do stupid stuff on stuff like get darts thrown on my back, and I said, "Well, did you hear the people?" Like
Yeah.
when I was younger, I used to do it with my buddies to make my buddies happy. Now I just do it for millions of people to
Now you get
be
paid.
happy. Exactly. Yeah, and I get paid. Yes.
Now you get paid to do it.
Hey, look at that car out there. Yep, that's what those darts did.
Yep. Absolutely. Right. Those darts pay for that pool you're in.
Yeah. My only regret from that match is I tried to get one of the darts to save. I want to save one. Like, hey, this was stuck in my back on national pay-per-view. Like, I want this. So I went to Top Guy, who runs, like, he gets all our stuff for us.
Yeah.
I said, man, I need one of those darts. I need one of those darts. He goes, I can't find them. Fans took them.
Oh.
I was like, what? He said, yeah, they took your bloody shirt. They took that. They took some beer bottle pieces and all that. I'm like, oh my God. So if there's a fan listening to this and you have one of those darts, I'd like it for my collection.
I was just gonna say, if you're out there listening to this right now and you have one of those darts, contact us or contact Beer City Bruiser, and we'll make sure that we're gonna try and
makes
track
its
down
way
a
back
dart.
to its rightful home.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it was in my back, you know, and
Right.
and
Commercial break.
Hey guys, I got a quick question for you. Are you dog people? If you know anything about us, you know that here at Bacon is My Podcast, our dogs are our family members, right? We love to give them a little something extra to look forward to every month, get them excited, and that's why we subscribe to BarkBox. So every single month, Bruce, Bane, and Bruno are treated to 2 brand new durable toys, plus like uniquely curated packs of treats. It keeps them excited, keeps them engaged, and you never have to like go out shopping for stuff. So if you have a 4-legged furry friend that is your favorite alliteration, we got a special deal for you. Just for being a Bacon is My Podcast consumer, if you head over to baconismypodcast.com and scroll to the sponsors, click on the BarkBox link, you'll get an extra toy in your first order from BarkBox. So head over, once again, baconismypodcast.com, click on the BarkBox link, and spoil your favorite 4-legged furry friend today. More alliteration. What's your bacon? So what was it like getting a wrestling buddy?
oh, this
Like-
was amazing.
Like when you saw the wrestling buddy of you.
So I reached out to the guy who does the wrestling buddies, and I said, "Hey man, I'm looking to get one for me and Malonis." And he says, "Yeah, that's what you got to send me and stuff." And then a couple weeks later, he's like, "I don't know if I can do this because Ring of Honor's thinking about doing that." I said, "Just make me one. Like, I
Right.
have to have a wrestling buddy of me, you know."
Yeah.
And so they sent it to me, and I'm blown away by it. And
It looked so cool, man.
yeah, and people want to buy it, but I can't sell them yet. And then the goggles are actually they're called beer goggles because Brian and I were like, "Hey, we should think of a way to come up with beer goggles for people."
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
A guy who you remember Macho Man, his old glasses, and they used to make he used to have all those. His kid, I think it is, makes those now.
Oh,
So he reached
okay.
out to me and says, "Hey, I heard you're looking for this. I can do this for you." And he showed me his work. I'm like, "Wait, that's Macho Man's NWO glasses. Wait, that's Macho." And he's like,
Wow.
"Oh yeah, my dad worked for Macho Man." I'm like, "Well, then yeah,
Then
you can
yes.
make
Yeah.
me- yeah.
All day. Yes.
You don't need to sell me anything. You made your dad made Macho stuff. And you're taking over the
Oh.
business. Yes, please send them to me."
Dude, Macho Man was one of my favorites of all time. Like my wrestling buddy that I owned when I was a little kid was Macho Man.
Yeah.
I had a Macho Man one, and my little brother had an Ultimate Warrior one. It was like,
I met Macho Man at a show. Harley brought him in, and all Macho Man wanted to do is play basketball. So we're all shooting hoops. And then out of the blue, he slides in the ring, grabs a chair, and starts challenging Harley to a match. Now, there's no crowd there. It's just the boys.
right.
He's like, "Come on, Harley, you're a champion." Da, da, da. And Harley got in the ring, and they worked a 3-minute match for us.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And ended with a chair, Harley giving him a chair shot. And I'm like, this is amazing. So
That's
then
so awesome.
That's how you
It
go
was
to
a-
wrestling school.
Yeah.
so it was a fundraiser for a little league thing. So they bring Macho Man out to do his speech.
Mhm.
All his speech on is his baseball career. Nothing to do with his wrestling career. He used to play
Right.
little league baseball and all that. And then the next day, he talked a guy named Jason Bates. He's like, "I don't want to do the next show. Just drive me to the airport. Tell Harley I left my oven on." And he no-showed the next day and flew home and told Harley he
wow.
left his oven on. But I was like, okay, in the last 24 hours, I watched Harley get in the ring with Macho Man.
Yeah.
Macho cut this weird promo for half hour, and then he ditched him. Like, who's that happen to?
That's incredible.
One of the things I will say about wrestling buddies, it is a great groomsman gift.
Yeah.
Because I was a part of a wedding that I had a wrestling buddy of myself.
That's amazing.
Of course, one of my dogs ate the shit out of it. So one of the arms is very limp, but
Yeah.
still.
Brothers Godor are the ones that did this. They don't have me for sale, but they have like Bruiser Brody, Raven, a bunch of guys for sale. And these are just like what we grew up with. Because I had a Hogan one,
Mhm.
I had a Sting one, and a Macho Man one. And I remember when he made them, like, they're not gonna be the same. Like, there's no way. Like, you know.
Right.
And then I got it, and I'm like, oh my God. And like, I remember my wife and I fighting over it because it was like so realistic, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I surprised Brian by getting him one. and he texted me. He goes, "I had a package from you." I said, "Yeah, open it up." He goes, "Oh my God, what did you do?" I said, "Yeah, I want to get these for my family." I said, "We can't sell them, man. Like, it's just a present for you and me. Like,
Right.
You want a Raven or a Brody or whatever? These are the guys to talk to."
Well, dude, what was that like when you opened it up and saw it?
It was better than I expected because they send
Yeah.
you pictures, obviously, while they're doing everything.
Right.
But then when I got it and I held it, I'm like, it's that same feeling as a kid, like I just remember it, and I'm like, this is amazing.
That's awesome.
And yeah, like I never thought it, and like all my friends are jealous. They all want to buy one, but they're not for sale. So
yeah,
that's unfortunate. But what is for sale is you got your BWO shirt there.
Yes, Beer World Order.
That is awesome.
That's
Pro Wrestling Tees. Yep.
I can get behind that.
I got to tell you, I've got a bunch of like Pro Wrestling Tees shirts, and it's good quality stuff. You gotta make sure you get the soft tees though.
Yes.
Yeah, always go for the soft tee.
Because a lot of people make and I did it at first. One of my first orders there, I had like 2 or 3 tees that they're like sandpaper on your nipples.
Yeah,
it's awful. But as long as you're willing to splurge a little bit, get the good one.
Always go for the soft tees. Always go for the soft tees.
Yeah.
If you get,
say, all the tees I bought, they never scratch my nipples, And I have this color here, which is Brewer colors. If you go to Brian Malonis, he has the black and gold.
Nice.
For us. I don't know why we don't both have the same on our page, but let them make money.
And
it won't matter anyway because you're turning heel.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I'm already a heel. Yeah. So
why wouldn't he turn heel? He got a different shirt. He tried to make his own. Dude's trying to step out on you. You gotta show him what's up.
I agree.
Brian's just gotta get on the same page. That's all it is.
Yeah,
do whatever it takes to win.
Exactly.
Look at all the greats in history. Well, Roosh is our champion. Whatever it took to win. Ric Flair, we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
He's known as what? The dirtiest player in the game.
Player in the game.
Right? The coolest faction in wrestling was either 4 Horsemen or D-Generation X. They did whatever it took to win, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's hey, like we talked about, man. I was a Macho Man guy. I was never a Hogan guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jake the Snake. I was a Macho Man, Jake the Snake. I was also a Bruiser Brody guy.
Oh God, yeah.
And I saw on your thing that like one of your earliest memories as a kid for wrestling was being at Brody versus Hanson.
Yes.
That's
what
holy shit, dude.
That's what actually made me fall in love with professional wrestling. So my uncle Tim, who to this day is probably my biggest fan, when I was younger, he took me to a fair. It's called the Merrill County Fair up here in Wisconsin, and the AWA was there.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle says, I'm gonna introduce you to something. If you like it, you like it. If not, no big deal. And the main event was supposed to be Brody versus Abdul the Butcher, but Abdul the Butcher canceled, so they threw Hanson in there. Now I'm 7 years old, and they're brawling all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And I can clearly remember to this day standing on my chair, and Brody coming over, chasing Hanson and doing the huss and blood everywhere. And I'm looking up and I look at my uncle and go, "This is the greatest thing in my life. I want to be a pro wrestler." And I was hooked. And from that moment on, all I did was want to see Brody. That's all I wanted to do. But Brody never stayed in one territory for too long. So that's how I got new tape trading when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that's how I discovered Japanese wrestling and Puerto Rico wrestling. And that's how I discovered Foley and ECW and the Von Erichs and all that, and that's just, that's the beginning of my wrestling,
Oh, that's amazing. What an amazing match to be like. I mean, Brody Abdullah the Butcher would have been amazing too.
Yeah.
But man, if I had to pick between the two, Brody Hanson, man, all day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
all day, every
just
day.
Yeah, and just them. And now it's funny because now that I'm in my career, I actually studied them in Japan because they were a tag team in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Brian and I got together, that's who I wanted to study. Because if he can make that impression on me, what could I do to kids?
Absolutely.
What impression can I make? So I wanted to watch that. And then because of him, I discovered Terry Gordy, who's another great big man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I became friends with Miranda, his daughter, and it's so cool how wrestling's full circle, you know. And I remember going to
so amazing.
Japan and being called a nerd because we wrestled in Cork and Hall, and I walked over with Dalton.
Hold on.
Wait.
Let's just take a moment. Let's just
You
take
were
a moment.
called a nerd.
You wrestled in Corrigan Hall,
Yeah.
and you've wrestled in Madison Square Garden,
Yes.
right? I just want to take a moment with that. That's outstanding.
Yeah. And I remember walking over to part of the bleachers and telling Dalton Castle, hey, this is where Brody did this and Brody did this. And he goes, dude, you're such a nerd. I go, I don't care. I'm in Cork and Hall wrestling in a place that my idol wrestled in. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, man. Oh
man.
Dude, that just had to be amazing. It's just all around, you know, because that aura, you know, like I just know from the very first time I was ever in Madison Square Garden. I went and I saw Tool, and that was my first show in Madison Square Garden that I saw.
Greatest band ever.
Oh, amazing. And
so good.
And I had moved to New York recently from Indiana. I'm sorry too. And walking into the garden, it was like there was just that aura of the history of it is there, right? That it's not just your memories and your viewpoint of it that creates that. When you walk in, there's just this thing that you can't explain that's there. You're breathing in the air from there, and you're like, oh, I've been to a lot of concerts. I hadn't been to the garden, you know. It was like it was a different thing. And I can only imagine like Corrigan Hall, a place where, like you said, like one of your heroes performed and did things that we all read about and know about and saw video of, right? And then you walk in there, it's got to have that same kind of like that goosebumps and that whole feeling of like, oh, I'm here, right? And to work there, I can't even imagine how that's like a level up of that feeling already.
It was surreal. Another one of my idols is Mick Foley, and I was talking to Godo. I said, I want to do this Mick Foley spot here because that's what Mick Foley did back in the day for FMW, and he let me do it. And I remember I hit the cannonball and I stood up, and the people are looking at me, and I lunged at them. They all ran away. I went, I just put two of my idols together. I just put Foley doing a cannonball and Brody chasing the people to make them run away together, like in Cork and Hall, where these guys made their name. Like, dude, I remember just pinching myself, and this can't be real. Like, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be back in Wisconsin, you know, like
right.
But it was real, and it was amazing.
Dude, that's
so cool.
No one can ever take that away from you either. You did it. You got that. You know, that's so kick ass.
And I'm a big fan that you went and saw Tool. I mean, amazing band. Probably the greatest band ever. Adam Jones, huge wrestling fan.
Yes, he is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Before we go into that, I think it's time for
last one.
Jim.
Yes.
This is a normal size beer can. Can you handle it?
Okay.
Can you handle it?
Let's do it. I'm still going to pour it in a glass so we can see it for those of us that are actually watching the video version of this.
I was excited when you sent me this because I'm a big peanut butter guy.
Yeah, we're peanut butter guys too. So
absolutely, peanut butter milk stout.
The first thing I noticed when I snapped it open, big peanut butter whiff.
Yeah, so I'm hoping
getting it now.
Reese's peanut butter cups in a cup. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm definitely getting that now. Pouring it, nice thick head on this too. Left Hand Brewing Company.
Like
it is Left Hand Brewing Company peanut butter milk stout.
Oh,
that is delicious.
This is heaven. In a glass.
Cheers, guys.
In a can.
This is Reese's peanut butter cup in a can.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, this is the greatest beer ever.
I'm so glad we saved this. I'm glad we saved this for the main event.
Yeah, this is a great main event.
This is definitely a headliner spot.
Left Hand Brewing, fantastic job. Sponsor these guys.
Wow.
This is great.
Yeah. Sponsor Beer City Bruiser. He'll drink it going down to the ring, I'm sure.
We actually before again everything shut down, Bobby Cruz actually has an inn with Yingling and pitched them sponsoring the bouncers because that's all we drink going to the ring is Yingling. we actually talked to the higher ups. We had a meeting. We did the whole shebang, and they're like,
Yeah.
"It's not in the budget this year. We'll revisit." This is 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
They said it's not in the budget this year. We'll look at 2020. Well, then dumpster
Right,
fire happened, and yeah. So hopefully, once live show starts picking back up, Yingling
Absolutely.
jumps on board because they really liked what we did. We told them this is all we
I gotta
do.
tell
Like,
you, I
what's
gotta
that?
tell you, I've been a big like Yingling drinker for, I mean, all of my life. Like drinking
Well, you're
beer
an East
once.
Coast guy, right? You're originally from the East
Yeah,
Coast.
yeah. So that's my thing. I really like Yingling from a can.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I like Yingling black and tans. from a
Oh,
can.
black and tan.
Yes.
Have you ever had that? Oh,
Yeah. So we
so
had to
good.
do in Atlanta. We had to do TV, and all I was doing that day was seconding Silas. So I walk up to Creative. I said, "Well, what do you want me to do?" They're like, "How much Yingling you got?" I said, "Well, somebody can go get me some." They brought me black and tans, a 6-pack or a 12-pack.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, they gave me a 12-pack of black and tans." They said, "We want you to drink that whole 12-pack on camera. Be mean to a security guard and drink that whole 12-pack on camera." So guess what I did?
Hell yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That is
was my job
amazing.
that night. I literally texted my wife, "I'm getting paid to drink beer on TV. What are you doing?"
Right.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
how's your night?
That's amazing.
Please tell me about your less cool night.
So, so real quick, you talked about going to MSG for the first time you saw Tool. When
Yeah.
was that? Because that might have been the first time I went to go see Tool.
That was
Was it right after 9/11?
Yes.
Yeah, I went to that too. That was the Lateralis tour.
Yeah, Lateralis,
Yeah,
we didn't even know each other.
yeah. We were there.
Breathed in the same air.
And I also
think-
got to see them on the not the 10,000 Days tour, but the tour that they got back together after that.
The Fear Inoculum tour? That's what I just did. was
Yeah.
the
No,
Fear
no,
Inoculum.
no, no. I didn't get to see them for this was like when they decided to get back together.
They never broke up.
broke up.
Well, no,
Maynard just did his-
tour again.
Maynard is
Yeah.
probably the busiest person in the world. Like he does Tool, he does Pucifer, he does the other band.
Dude,
then it's
Maynard
Weiner.
and Mike Patton. Maynard and Mike Patton are
Yeah.
like I have so many
Well,
other bands.
So
Yeah.
that Lateralis tour, Phantomus
Yep, Phantomus.
opened up.
And Mike Patton's one
And
of my
Mike Patton,
personal
yeah.
heroes.
And
Yeah.
and Mike Patton is the lead singer of Phantomus.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike Patton, Faith No More, right?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So Pants, the referee for us, Todd Sinclair, huge,
Todd.
huge Faith No More fan.
Okay.
My wife never heard him. Play
Huh?
Yep, exactly. Play 2 songs for her. Huge fan now. Begging me to take her to a concert. I don't think they tour. I don't think Mike Patton's with
No.
the band anymore. So
Right.
I text Pants and he goes, "You've done right." Like he was just so excited that she finally discovered Faith No More.
That's amazing.
That's great. That's such
Yeah.
a good band. He's such a good singer. Like again, him and Maynard are two of my
yeah.
like
Maynard is on my bucket list to meet people. Adam Jones and Maynard. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good
Just-
list.
yeah, and I got Maynard's biography. He has an autobiography. I got it signed by him and stuff. And
Oh,
just
nice.
big fan. Like Pearl Jam and Tool got me through the 90s. That's all I gotta say. Like,
Yeah.
I had a child. I had a child young. I went through a divorce young, and they got me through all of it. So
So
Wow.
deal with it.
so I've got a question. Adam Jones, he's a huge wrestling fan.
Yes,
He's never shown up at a Ring of Honor show that
he
you've been on.
has. I heard through the grapevine that he had shown up to a show that we had done. I don't remember where we were, but Tool was in town too. And I remember going, I wonder if there's a way I could do the show and the concert or whatever. There was no way, but they had an off day and he came to the show. And I found this out because he did that podcast with Jericho a few years ago.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentions the show. And I was like, wait a minute. And I did the calculation. I'm like, oh, I wrestled Shane Taylor that show. He saw me wrestle. My life's complete.
That's
You know,
awesome.
like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, my favorite guitar player watched me wrestle. I'm okay with it. So,
That's
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
Nice.
and he says too in numerous interviews he's a fan of Ring of Honor. So he in the last 7 years he's had to have seen me at least once.
Oh yeah,
Right,
he
right.
knows who you are. He
He
knows
has
who you
to.
are.
I hope.
I got to tell you, I actually so Fender. So we're musicians, obviously.
Did you get the new Adam Jones guitar that just got released?
I did
looked
not.
at it. I've looked at it.
Guitars are expensive.
No, I know. Yeah,
So
I'm not a guitar player.
I
I
have
learned to
seen
play, and that was the guitar I was going to buy. Then I looked at the price and went, "Yeah, I can't do that." Like,
That's what I said. I've looked
well,
at it.
he's got a very
It looks
very
cool.
he's got a strange and specific guitar.
Yeah.
It has metal in it.
Yep.
And yeah, like it was always like a very sought after guitar. But the guitar I was bringing up is Fender is doing a Mike McCready.
Mhm.
no way.
Yeah,
Really?
they're
Yeah,
doing
I
a
saw
Mike
that too.
McCready signature guitar.
I have a storied history with Pearl Jam. So, like Tool, they were the last band on my bucket list. Never really got to see them, and then my wife surprised me with Tool tickets in Kansas City. We went, watched them Halloween here in Milwaukee. Got to watch them. Awesome. Pearl Jam, I have a different history with. So, when I was in high school, I ended up getting Pearl Jam tickets, and I got into a fight with my ex, and she ended up burning the tickets in front of me. So like, well, this is in the 90s, so they're touring all the time. So next year, I get Pearl Jam tickets. I'm gonna see these, I'm gonna see them.
Yeah.
Put them in my glove compartment. Driving my car to the concert. There's no way they're going anywhere, right? My mom ends up taking my car up to my grandma's house, which is 3 hours away. Don't see the concert. Oh my God.
Oh.
Next time, go to get tickets from a scalper. They're fake tickets. Never gonna see them. That's where I was at. So
Right.
my ex-girlfriend, she ends up getting there's a wrestler around here called Angel Armani. He has a hookup on tickets. She gets tickets from him. I'm like, nope, not happening. We get inside the venue, we get to our seat. She's like, it's happening. I said, nope, not happening. Like, until I see Eddie Vedder walk on that stage, this is not happening. Opening band plays. She's like, you happy yet? This is great. I said, nope, not happening. Like, until he steps on that stage, I'm not.
They're not there. They're not there.
Eddie comes out. I don't know if you guys seen him live, but he always has a champagne bottle. That's how he opens every show with a champagne bottle. He comes out, welcomes to Milwaukee, opens the champagne bottle. I look at her and go, now I got to see Pearl Jam. So my wife, for our anniversary, decided to give me Pearl Jam tickets for the PJ20 tour. And remember, they announced that was it. They were done after PJ20.
Right.
So she got us tickets. Right during the third song in, she ends up falling. A guy ends up falling and hitting her in the back. She has to be taken out by medical.
Oh no!
Oh my God!
So I missed the whole concert, and I'm pissed. Like, I don't want to talk to her. She's laying in a hospital bed, and I don't want to talk to her.
Why can't you be stronger?
Yeah, like, suck it up, man. I get hit with chairs,
right.
Tables. Like,
you
it's
need to
Eddie
work
Vedder.
on your lats.
Mike McCready. It's Stone. Just let me watch them. 2 years later, she surprises me with tickets to the Bradley Center. I have the same reaction. I'm not excited yet. Right. First band comes on, don't care. Next band, she's like, come on. I go, no, a guy could fall down these stairs and crack in the head. We can leave, whatever. Eddie comes out, and it's the tour that they end up playing 4 encores on. So I look at her and go, this is it. This is perfect. This is the greatest night of my life.
Right.
Like, yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's crazy. I've seen them 3 times, I think.
Yeah, I've seen them 3.5.
Right.
I've only seen them once.
Yeah, I actually was at that show at the Coliseum. What was the name of the DVD that they put out like in the early 2000s? He came out in a George Bush Jr. Mask,
right?
And he put it on the thing, and the whole arena started booing him.
Yep.
That was the show. I was at that show.
Oh wow.
So my buddy's dad got us in there because they were Nassau County cops or whatever. And the Nassau County cops, they were like, it was happening. And they were like, okay, we got to go. And I'm like, I'll walk home. I'm close enough. I'll be fine. So the Nassau Coliseum is like 20 minutes away from me. Or maybe like 15 minutes away driving. Right. And I was like, I'll walk home. Like, this is like, see you later.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're so good live, and they play so long. Dude, okay. So this dude, his band plays like 2-hour long sets.
Yeah,
if we can, anytime we can,
anytime they can. It's ridiculous.
And it's probably dumb because we're an all original band and we're not famous. So
What's
I
fun
watched,
is
I watched the Violent Femmes play for 4 hours.
Oh.
The two Tool concerts I went to were 3.5 hours, and then Pearl Jam ended up playing for like, I want to say 3.5 hours. I went and saw Metallica. I took my wife to her first Metallica concert, and they ended up playing for 4 hours.
yeah,
Wow.
I saw
And
Metallica play for like 3.
Yeah, she was
I
blown
saw-
away. She goes, "These guys are sick," because this was last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're like 60 years old. I said, "Yeah, but like,
Come
you have
on,
no
yeah.
idea." Yeah.
I saw Guns N' Roses play for 3 hours once. Like they came on stage like 2 hours
Axel
late.
showed up.
2
Okay.
hours late. 2 hours
Okay.
late he showed up, but then they played for 3 hours and it was like, "Oh, okay."
yeah,
That's fine.
yeah. The last concert that I saw that somebody showed up late on was STP. I think it was like an hour and a half after they were supposed to start, and they had a noise ordinance because it was an outdoor show in
Oh, right.
Jersey.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I saw Foo Fighters do that, and Dave Grohl came out and he said, "It's 11 o'clock. They're going to fine us this much money every minute that we go on past 11 o'clock. So we're only going to play 6 more songs for you guys." They played like an extra 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
I
whatever.
ended up going to Fozzy. Jericho was playing
Oh, yeah.
a festival I was at, and I'd actually worked out to be on the Jericho podcast. So he's like, "Hey, after the concert, come backstage, and then we'll do the podcast."
Right.
They ended up having a bunch of travel issues. So he's texting me like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to make it." And I'm like, "You guys have a show to like," and it's not like a
Right.
wrestling show where like a wrestling show, if someone shows up late, you just move them to later in the night.
Subject to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at a concert, you're the first band on. Guess what? You're the
Right.
first band on. Like,
Right. Yeah.
and they end up getting there and stuff. But I remember backstage and doing the interview and stuff, and then Godsmack was headliner, or they're the headliner that night. And
Okay.
Sully, the lead singer, like stepped in to talk to Jericho, and he goes, "Oh, sorry, you're busy," and he walks out. And I'm like, wait a minute, like,
It's okay. It's okay.
yeah, come back. Like, who cares about me? Let's talk about you.
So, dude, you're in Wisconsin, and like this summer, there's tons of festivals. Like we've interviewed at least 3 or 4 bands in
that
the
are
past
on
like
these festivals.
month
Yeah.
that are all on these festivals coming up in the summer.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try and make your way out, or are you kind of like obligated to the ROH bubble in a lot of ways, or
I'm getting the second vaccine, so I'm okay with that. Like Monday,
Cool.
I go in to get the second shot. But that's the best thing about Wisconsin is we have huge music festivals. We have Summerfest,
Yeah.
which
Summerfest.
is
Oh,
it's a week long of just nonstop music. And the cool thing is they've had wrestling there the last 4 years.
Oh wow.
So we get
Oh.
pit passes or we get backstage passes for bands and stuff.
Oh,
Like I got to watch Jane's Addiction from the wings of the stage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that's when my wife goes, "Are you sure you're into girls?" I said, "Why?" She goes, "You couldn't keep your eyes off Dave Navarro. Dave Navarro is a very attractive man."
Hey, you know what? He's dreamy.
Not gonna
Extremely.
hate on you for that. Not at all.
She's like, "There were strippers all over that stage, and all he talked about was Dave Navarro." I go, "He plays guitar amazing," and you know,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
Dude,
So
strippers, strippers are strippers. Dave Navarro.
Yeah, Dave Navarro, you don't see all the time.
You don't see him
No.
every day.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, totally. You're right. Wow.
I would love to do the whole circuit. Like, it'll be great. They moved Summerfest this year. It's gonna be in September now.
Yeah, I heard
And
it's
they're
September now.
Yeah, and they're only doing weekends. So like
Uh-huh.
I gotta talk to my contact now that I'm not in Indies, see if he can still get me and it depends on the bands and stuff, you know.
Right.
You know, you always want to see the headliners, but I like side bands and stuff, you know, before they were famous type stuff.
Yep.
So
Well, if you need a few of those, we got a few of those.
Yeah.
okay. I'm in.
We got a few of those actually. We got some after you, some before you, so we got some ins for you.
All
Yeah,
right,
definitely.
I'm in. I love music. Concerts are like wrestling, and concerts are great. And like I love going to concerts and just chilling out and listening to music. And you know, like I like going to indie concerts. I guess you can call them. They're the bands that are going to make it before they make it.
Right.
Like
right.
I saw Caesar before they got really big, And now that
Nice.
they're really big, now that they're really big, they're one of my favorite bands. You know, it's like, oh, I remember when they were selling out. Like, we have the rave here, only holds like 200 people. You know, and I remember them not selling that out. And then I remember going 10 years later, and you couldn't get a ticket.
Right.
And I remember talking to a guy I know on the radio, and he's like, "Oh no, I'll give you a ticket." And we ended up going, and that was like, it was cool to see that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I remember when you guys played opening band for this, and there was 5 people here. Like, I saw Kid Rock. He opened for Monster Magnet. There's nobody there for Kid Rock. Monster Magnet sold out. But nowadays, who are you going to see? Kid Rock or Monster? You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
Well, speak for yourself. I like Monster Magnet.
I like Monster Magnet.
I love Monster Magnet, but I'm just talking about who sells more albums
You're right
now. You know?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. It was funny. So it came up a couple of days ago. A buddy of mine and I actually did go to CC there at a venue pretty close to here that we play all the time. They were headlining, and there was 14 people there.
Right.
Oh God.
Tops.
They're an
Tops. It was
amazing
14
concert
people.
too.
Oh,
They're
it was
amazing.
great. At the time, they were still a 3-piece too.
Really?
Like an official, like they were just playing as a 3-piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you never know. You never know. Like,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I've always, like, I preach on here is, like, if you're going to a show and you hear that there's opening bands,
See 'em.
listen to the opening bands too, because you never know. They could be your next favorite band.
Well, it's much like a wrestling show. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
There's so many parallels there where it's like, because
That's why we do that.
everything is about audience, everything is
Yeah.
about performing, and everything is about communicating, right? And as musicians, we're always communicating with an audience, and we're listening to the audience, and we're feeding off an audience. I can't tell you how many times, like, my band gets annoyed with me all the time because I'll show up and change a set list because I'm like, nah, not for this crowd that's happening right now. We got to feel it out, and we got to change things. We got to do stuff.
Yep.
And wrestling and music for me too, just like you were saying, those two things, man, have been constants in my life. But it's like, you never know. That first match is a pretty important spot.
It is.
Yeah.
You know?
When I tell students, like, I'll go to indie shows every once in a while. Now that I got the vaccine and stuff, just to watch.
Right.
And I'll see 2 guys. Oh, we're first match. I go, you guys you're important. Well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You set the tone for the whole night. And I bring up concerts. I go, how often have you showed up to a concert early and the first band just doesn't give a shit? You know,
Right.
you're not going to care about the main event, no matter how big and famous they are. I remember going to a 9 Inch Nails concert. Before 9 Inch Nails was Marilyn Manson. Before Marilyn Manson was Pop Evil. Nobody knew who Pop Evil was.
Right.
But now you look at them, you know, they're huge. You know, and I try to tell guys, like, just be happy you're on the show. You know, you're setting the tone. Get these people to want to be a fan of you. So then now the next time they come early because they want to see you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we have taken up so much of your time at this point. So we gotta wind it up. We made it through our beer gauntlet.
Yes,
and,
we did.
Dude, we've had an awesome conversation. This has been super
Yeah.
fun. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
giving us your time and hanging out with us and drinking beer with us and chatting about wrestling and music. And, like, those are the things we love to talk about. So this has been awesome.
Yeah, that's what we do on a Friday night anyway.
And then it was like, you think other people would want to talk? Super awesome, man. Thank you so much.
I cannot wait to drink this. I'm gonna crack it. You know, I'll crack it open now.
Definitely. Yes. Let us know how it is.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Talk to us about it.
Oh God, yeah.
And you know what? Down the line, now we get to talk to the Beer City Bruiser, ROH superstar. Super awesome, man. Thank you so much.
I cannot wait to drink this. I'm gonna crack it. You know, I'll crack it open now.
Definitely. Yes. Let us know how it is.
I've heard nothing but good things. Oh, that is good. Like I said, I'm not an IPA guy, and this is Go figure. Stone Cold knows something about beer.
He knows something about beer.
Yeah. You think he's taking a swear too, so maybe he knows.
This is great.
Awesome. Well, dude, thank you.
Enjoy it.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
We've enjoyed this. And for everybody that's watching, check out ROH, Ring of Honor, right? Check out the Beer City Bruiser. Jump on his Twitter account because he is letting you know all the time where and how you can see Ring of Honor. I mean, he's awesome. So wait for that wrestling buddy. It's not out yet, but it's coming.
It'll be
come.
there
Coming. It's coming.
eventually.
And don't
But
be a
while-
putz. Buy it when it comes out.
Exactly.
Yes.
Don't be a putz. Go to prowrestlingtees.com and buy
Yes.
yourself a Beer World Order shirt right now.
Yeah.
And also go to baconismypodcast.com.
But get the blue one. Get the blue one.
Get the blue one. Yeah, get
Blue
the blue
one.
one.
Yes. Yes.
Go to baconismypodcast.com and get yourself a Bacon is My Podcast t-shirt as well. They're all of the soft tea variety.
So, sir, where can people find you on the interwebs?
On Twitter at BCB Winchester, Facebook the Beer City Bruiser, Instagram Beer City Bruiser, prowrestlingtees.com/Beer City Bruiser, and then I'm on Cameo. If you want me to drink beer and tell you how great you are, go to Cameo Beer City Bruiser.
And of course, don't forget always sign up for Honor Club because you can watch him do stuff like break beer bottles over people's
come after
heads.
somebody with a broken beer bottle.
Or watch a ref be a pussy because he breaks a beer bottle and goes after somebody.
I asked him I said, man, why are you throwing that out? He goes, you can't kill somebody on TV. It's illegal.
Yeah, but you didn't yet.
Everybody's got their weird rules.
Jimsy.
Yes, sir.
Where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me personally on the Instagrams and Twitters at Jimmy G's Shoes. They can find my band Craving Strange at Craving Strange Music on the gram, the twat, Book of Faces, and cravingstrange.net. And then they can also find me with Bacon is My Passion, with our collective musics on Spotify and Apple. And if you're listening to the podcast on Apple, please give us that 5-star review, because that just helps us get heard by more people. It takes you like 2 seconds and it helps us a lot. Where are you at?
Oh, I am at me, my own self, Mike, on all the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks. My band is called Something Heavy. You can catch it at Something Heavy Music on all of the social medias and Spotify.
Yeah.
And all that fun stuff.
But regardless of all of that, you have been listening to Bacon is My Podcast, where we strive, nay, we live to answer the question, the eternal question.
Hashtag.
Yeah. What's your bacon? Thank you guys for listening. Beer City Bruiser, thank you for hanging out.
Thank you.
And we out. See ya.
Bacon is my podcast.